guys, welcome back. Happy Monday. I hope that you had a fabulous weekend and that you're ready for another fabulous week of virtual learning. Today for our lesson, what you're going to be needing, you're going to be needing your composition book, some markers, crayons, color pencils if you have them. If not, no worries. And then you're also going to be needing a pencil. Remember, Miss Medina uses pen just so that you guys can see it a little better when we're taking our notes. So let's go ahead. Let's open up our notebook. So right here, we're on our table of contents. Now remember that I had you leave 2 empty pages after it. So let's open it to that very next empty page. And this one's going to be kind of like our vocabulary word walls, but at the top, we're just going to write the word vocabulary. This is where your crayon, your marker, your color pencil is going to come in handy. And at the top, let's just write vocabulary. Vocabulary. All right. And now in math, we're going to have different vocabulary words by our different units. So our first unit that we've been working on is, you guessed it, place value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip a line and I'm going to write place value right here. All right. And now normally I like to write really big, so it's really hard for me to write small, but it's important that we write small because we're gonna have to fit in a few words on one line. So starting off from last week, one of the first things we learned were our base 10 blocks. So I'm actually right here going to write base 10 blocks. And I'm gonna put like a little dash. Oh, base 10 blocks. Whoops. I'm gonna put a little dash there. So one of the very first ones that we learned was a 1 or a unit. Okay. Then the second word or second one that we learned was a rod or a 10. Our next one we learned was a flat or 100. Now remember, if I'm going too quick, you can always pause the video and work at your own pace. Just keep pressing play to continue. Okay, so unit, rod, flat, and then we had another one which was a cube or a 1,000. And those were our base 10 blocks vocabulary words. Now, a few other words that we also learned were to compose and decompose. Remember, compose is when we created the number, we got the number together. So right here, I'm just gonna write compose. So to create the number, we can compose it. And then if we wanna take the number apart, we wanna decompose it. So we'll be going further into that this week. And then we also talked about the 4 forms of a number. So those will also be vocabulary words. So I'm going to start with standard form. Then we did expanded form. Another form we did was picture form. And lastly, we did word form. . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . All right, so that is our vocabulary for this section. And then I'm going to go into the practice of 4 forms. All right, so let's turn to our next available page. If you remember, the last thing we did was the 4 forms of a number this way. So let's go ahead, let's turn to the next available page. And this one, we're going to title it 4 Forms Practice. 4 Forms Practice. And this is still chapter 1. Now, I didn't put another bullet in the table of contents just because we did 4 forms of a number on our first one on the bullet. So this still continues on to that. So what we're going to do next, we're going to turn our notebook to the side. Make sure that your red line is on top. Now from here, what we're going to do is this little section right here, we're going to partition it into 4 different groups, okay? So I'm going to come here. I used a marker just because it's easier to see. I'm going to come here. And one more time right here. And then at the top, right there. All right, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different forms. And at the top, we're gonna title those little sections. So right here, I'm going to title it standard, and we know that it is standard form. Remember, that's always how we see the number. Right here, I'm going to put the expanded form. Word form, yeah, I'll do word form right here. Word form. And then right here, picture form. All right, remember, you can always pause if I'm going a little too quick for you. So one of the first things we're gonna do a full set together. And then what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you do one on your own. I'm gonna give you the standard form and you're gonna work out the other 3, but I'll give you more details when we get to it. So the standard form of the number, the first thing I'm gonna do just to get our brains going, I'm gonna start off with a 2-digit number. So I'm going to start off with the number 86. Remember, it's 2 digits, so it's 2 numbers. All right, and then I remember Miss Medina always likes to put just a small place value chart here because that is going to help us with pretty much the rest. So I'm going to go into the expanded form. If I'm looking at my place value chart right here, I know that there are 8 tens. So if there's 8 tens, would we put the 8 or would we put 80, which is the value of the 8 tens? And if you said the 8 tens, which is the value of 80, that's exactly what we're gonna do. So the value of the 8 tens is 80. Those are our tens. Plus, remember, expanded is when we explode the number, my 6 ones. Now I don't have to put a 0 there because these are ones. So we're good there. Now we're going to move on to word form. And if you look on your virtual manipulatives folder, I added a hundreds chart in word form. So that's going to be able to help you with what this word form section. So we're going to write it as we hear it. The number is 86. So I'm going to write 80 dash, because it's not one word, 6. That is our number in word form. Now I'm going to move on to the picture form. Remember, we need a place value chart. That is our BFF always. 86. Now, when I compose it in picture form, I always want to start in my ones place. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with my ones. I know for sure that there's 6 ones because I have it in standard form, I have it in the expanded form, and in the word form. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, you never want to put more than 5 in a row, because if we start putting more than 5 in a row, then it just gets tricky. And then for sure, I know I have 5 here, and I need one more for 6. Now I need to look at my tens. 80, 88, 80. So I need my 8 tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now, if you're wondering, why is Miss Medina counting by 50? Well, it's because each one of those, not by 50, by tens, I'm sorry. Each one of those is a value of 10. So that's where I get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And this is how we represent a number in 4 different forms. So part of your assignment today is I'm going to give you a number, and you're going to complete the rest in your notebook. So the number I'm going to give you, I'm also going to give you another 2-digit number, and then we'll work our way up to a 4-digit number. But for today, part of your assignment, I want you to give me the different forms of the number. Let's do 59. Okay? I want you to do the number 59 in expanded form, in word form, and in picture form. All right, guys, that is your lesson, part of your lesson for today. So remember that we covered our vocabulary, and then we also practiced our 4 forms of a number. Now, don't forget to do these last 3 on your own, because I will be checking later on this week to make sure that you got it. Tune into your other video where I show you how to do your assignment on Schoology.